Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. That is almost 6 years of Torah every single weekday morning with friends like Jonathan and Susie, Lydia and Arlene. Good morning. It's good to see all of you. I hope that you and yours are safe and well. Carl, nice to see you. Let's see who else is here so we can say good morning to each other as we have 1,469 times. This is That Number broadcast. Jerry and Linda, good to see you. Peter, sending love to Frankfurt. John, nice to see you, my friend. Hope that everyone is doing well. Joyce and Sharon. Carl, thank you, Carl. Doing better. Appreciate that. We're going to sing a bracha in a second, learn some Torah, and get our day started. George, Boker Tov, Jack, and Minna, good to see you too. Here we go. Hi, Cecile. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the well wishes. I am in recovery from the norovirus. No fun. But let me jump to something that is fun. To say hi to Dale, who's in Israel with Arlene and Karen. And Arlene wrote just a second before that you are now returning from having visited the new Nova House, home that UJA Federation of New York has built in partnership with the tribe of Nova to help the community of survivors and their families continue being a family together and be on this healing journey. A blessing for you to bring us with you and to bear witness. I can't wait to hear all about it. Penny, thank you for the reminder. It's broadcast 1,469. Linda, you're sharing that today is your beloved grandmother's birthday, Gussie's birthday, with whom you share your birthday. Happy birthday to you both. And Catherine is sharing that in Australia there are serious fires. I hope that you are safe. I hope that everyone there is safe. There's a lot more to talk about, friends, but I'm thrilled to be able to share this morning of Torah with you. It's just good to be able to have this regular ritual of community. And we've been doing it for a long time, but it never gets old. So I hope that you are you're letting it in. Just the gift of having a community that comes together and learns together. Arlene, there are people asking for more information about the Nova House. If you are able to either post a link or maybe write a few words, I'm sure that people would appreciate a little bit of information. I'll begin a little bit of teaching now, but that will be really exciting if you're able to share it. Parshat Vaera, where we are in the Torah, the second Torah portion in the book of Exodus, includes the beginning of the plagues. And when we hear about the plagues, you have to remember that they're all predicted. God even told Abraham way back in Genesis that Abraham's descendants would be strangers in a strange land and treated terribly. And then God would save them with signs and wonders. And those signs and wonders are understood as the plagues. But part of this is that God tells Abraham, just as God tells Moshe in our Parsha, that God will harden Pharaoh's heart. And this becomes a very, very complicated conversation for us because we presume that justice is based on free choice, meaning if Pharaoh doesn't have the ability to choose not to do the wrong thing, if Pharaoh isn't able to choose to do the right thing, then what kind of punishment does he really deserve? And theologians and commentators have struggled with this. Here are a few of the ways that we deal with it, and then I'll offer a thought of my own in a moment. There are 10 plagues, and a careful reading of the text shows that Pharaoh hardens his own heart. That's the language of the Torah, the first 5. Pharaoh relents and then hardens his own heart. Once the threat of the plague is lifted, he returns to cruelty. It's a kind of executive leadership where it's a carrot and stick approach. When the stick literally is hitting Egypt, Pharaoh says, fine, stop, I'll let them go. As soon as the stick is removed, Pharaoh says, no, I will not let them go. And this pattern goes on throughout the plagues, but the first 5, he hardens his own heart. And so there are suggestions, including in Midrash Rabbah. This is an ancient Midrash, I'm just going to read it. Reish Lakish said, since God sent the opportunity for tshuva, for repentance, 5 times, and Pharaoh did not do tshuva, God then said, you have stiffened your neck and hardened your heart on your own, so now the heart of Pharaoh will not receive the words of God, meaning there was an opportunity for tshuva 5 times on this catastrophic scale, and then Pharaoh lost the ability to change course, was so dug in. There's another philosopher, a beautiful quote here from Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto. He wrote, our external actions have had effect on our inner feelings. We have more control over our actions than our emotions, and if we utilize what is in our power, we will eventually acquire what is not as much in our power, which means even when you feel things, you have more control over your actions than you might remember. Now let me offer a thought. We see in our world, all over it, the exercise of power without restraints, a hardening of hearts in some ways. And only when there is pressure upon someone in a position of power do they seem to relent. But as soon as that pressure is removed, they go back to whatever it is that they were doing, which in our world is often cruel. We see what is called later a Pharaonic approach, being like Pharaoh, exercised by leaders all over the world, where cruelty, in order to retain and exercise power, seems justified. And the only thing that stops it is not tshuva, repentance, but pressure. And the question is how to show a Pharaonic impulse that it is wrong without becoming Pharaoh yourself. These are big questions for us because, as Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel famously taught, no action is neutral. And as he taught, especially in opposition to the war in Vietnam, he said that now is no time for neutrality, because lives are on the line, and the witness that we have all over the world. My heart is in Minneapolis. My heart is in Iran. My heart is with Ron Gvili's family, because if we are moving to phase 2 of a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza, and Ron Gvili's family doesn't have him back in order to bury him, there is so much, we are carrying so much. But what we cannot do, we cannot allow, is a hardening of our own hearts. You see, when you look closely, that the first 5 plagues are a result of Pharaoh's own active choice. And after 5 active choices of cruelty, he can't change course anymore. We have to make sure that our hearts don't become calloused. I would never accuse us of cruelty. But I would suggest that if we become used to the world as it is, we do ourselves and the world no favor, and probably worse. We allow it to continue on a path that includes massive scales of cruelty. So I ask you, friends, don't let your heart become scarred. Keep your heart open. There's work we need to be doing. Some of that work is inner. To remain feeling compassionate people who can change course. Because sometimes we must. With the amount of stuff that we witness every day, it would be understandable if we lost our sensitivity. To be like Pharaoh is to lose your sensitivity, to lose your empathy, to lose your compassion. This, friends, this is a really important part of remaining human, which is why the rabbis say in Pirkei Avot, "B'makom she'ein anashim hishtadel liot ish," in a place where people aren't acting human, work hard, be human. This is not easy. Pharaoh isn't meant to be some archetypal villain that no human being could become. Pharaoh is meant to be a warning. And the commentators that I've shared today, Rish Lakish in the Midrash Rabbah and Luzzatto in the 18th century in Italy, they're telling us that these are characteristics that we must be sure to cultivate against. Let's be human. Let's retain our humanity. And let's take the actions that we must in order to cultivate caring hearts. Let's send our hearts to the east, friends. Let's sing. Kol dor balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulafate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow.